The drag and drop into text question type is one of the more flexible question types within Moodle quizzes. To add one in your question bank, just click the Create a New Question button, scroll down, and click the Drag and Drop into Text option here. You can double click it to create the question. Now I actually have one that I'm already building, and I'm doing something unusual where I'm showing you the actual question text with the answers embedded, as well as how you would have to format the text to create the question. Now what you can see in this first paragraph is I've bolded different terminology. This is the terminology that I would want my students to drag and drop into this paragraph text in the actual question. What I've actually done in the question text below is I've replaced each of those terms with a number in double brackets, and that number corresponds to when that thing shows up. Now I happen to be reusing the same terms over and over again, so you'll see where I've reused the same numbers over and over again. So in this case, iOS 14 represents 1 in double brackets, so every time you see 1 in double brackets in this paragraph, that is where iOS 14 would appear as an answer. Again, the students would not see this part. It's purely illustrative for this video. You would actually take all those responses that you wanted the students to drag and drop text into and replace them with these numbers in brackets. The reason that you're replacing them with numbers in brackets is that when you scroll down to the choices section, this is where you would enter in the answers that would fill in those responses. What that would look like is this for the students. Now, something that's really important to emphasize is if you are allowing them to use the same responses multiple times, which we are in this particular case, you need to check the unlimited box so that that answer can be used multiple times in the question. In this particular case, I can drag this response in as many times as I need, and you can see that it never exhausts itself. If I had forgotten to check unlimited next to these responses, what would happen is the students would only be able to use each one just once. And at that point, when they try and save their responses, they'll be told that they need to put an answer in each box. So I want to make sure that when I set this up, I check these boxes that say unlimited. The only other thing that I would mention here, a bit further up underneath your question text, is when you include the default points, I happen to make my point value match the number of responses that are in this question. So in this case, there are 10 different spaces within the question, so I made it worth 10 points. However, if you make it worth 1 point or 5 points or however many points, Moodle will automatically scale the number of correct responses possible within this question to be represented within that number. So in this case, if I made my default points 20 points, each response would be worth 2 points within those 20 points.